would need to like record the audience and then me and then.
Point the camera to us and then and at the end show him.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. That's like.
He did not say anything. As long as you look presentable. Andrew, once you're recording us, go to the back. Okay. And make sure the camera.
Like zoomed in.
So once I finish like showing you.
Yeah, go to the back, make him in the center, and at the end come back and take another shot of us.
I guess I will start. All right, cool. All right.
Hold on. You start whenever he goes to the back.
Okay.
Okay. I'll get out.
So.
All right. Hello. All right. It's clear today that we live in a time of extreme wealth inequality. We just got our first trillionaire, but for millions of people in this country, quality of life is worse than what it was for previous generations. Rich people today hoard, but I'm here today to talk about a man who saw a responsibility to make society better, even for people who didn't look like him. A radical idea for the time. A black man from Alabama. I have family and ancestors who benefited from his schools. For the past 4 years, I've worked at an institution that he founded. His name is Julius Rosenwald, and I'm honored to share some of his legacy today. I'll go over his life in extension, charitable works during his lifetime, and one thing that still lasts. Start with his life. He was born in Springfield, Illinois in 1862 to a Jewish family, and was basically born to be a clothing magnate. According to a 2024 article by William Cellini for the Sangamon County Historical Society, his father Samuel was a manager for Hammersaw's clothing store, which among other ventures provided ready-to-wear uniforms for Union soldiers during the Civil War. Julius moved to New York at 17 years old to work at the Hammersaw's wholesale clothing business. He then moved to Chicago in 1885 and became president of a retail clothing store called Rosenwald and Wheel. In 1895, he became vice president of Sears, Roebuck and Company, eventually became president, and finally served as chairman of the board until his death in 1932. He was president for 15 years, 1910 to 1925, and Sears saw significant growth and prominence during that time. As Rosenwald's business successes grew, he thought it more necessary to do good with his wealth. In 1917, while still president of Sears, he created the Julius Rosenwald Fund, establishing himself as one of the most prominent philanthropists of his time. He had many areas of philanthropic interests. A lot of his correspondences are stored in UChicago's archives, if you want to take a look. But his most famous project was setting up Rosenwald schools. There were over 5,000 schools set up across the South, specifically to educate rural Black populations. According to Oliver Arney at the Tennessee State Museum, by 1928, a third of Black schools in the South were Rosenwald schools. I want you to keep in mind this is the 1920s. I'm sure you heard of Booker T. Washington as well. Julius was one of his biggest supporters and partners. Teachers' quarters and training programs, of which Tuskegee Institute was the most famous, were all bankrolled by this Jewish millionaire. He didn't just impact rural African Americans, though. He also founded YMCAs and YWCAs for African Americans in urban areas. According to UChicago's records, in total, around $60 million was donated by Rosenwald for all kinds of projects, and the planned termination of the fund took place in 1948. It was planned to end because he believed that each generation has an obligation to meet the needs of its day. One part of Rosenwald's legacy that still exists today, though, is Chicago's own Museum of Science and Industry. The Hyde Park Herald has an article written in 2025 by Patricia Morse talking about the origins of MSI. It mentions that the idea for a science and industry museum was inspired by Julius' family trip to the Deutsches Museum in Germany. He pledged $3 million to establish a similar place in Chicago. And for its building, he rehabbed one of the last remaining buildings from the 1893 World's Fair, the Palace of Fine Arts. Although often referred to as the Rosenwald Museum in its early days, he declined to officially have his name on the museum. He never got to see it open to the public, however, as he died the year before it opened. The museum opened in 1933 in time for the Century of Progress World's Fair, and it actually celebrated its 93rd birthday this month. A really fun fact is that its actual original feature exhibit, the coal mine, is still in operation today. According to the museum's website, it is the largest science museum in the Western Hemisphere, and it's one of the most visited museums in Chicago and the U.S. It's one of Chicago's most important cultural institutions. And even though today it's technically named after a billionaire, he did donate $125 million to the place, Kenneth Griffin, so he kind of halfway embodied the Rosenwald ideal. But that is to say, this is only a small introduction to the life of Julius Rosenwald. He was an incredible man, not because of his fortune, but because he had the courage to do something good with it. Even though only a few small amount of buildings remain from the Rosenwald schools, we still got one thing left, the Museum of Science and Industry in Hyde Park. So definitely check that out. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I mainly tell Rosenwald's story to show that rich people not have only a choice, but an obligation to improve society. Julius provided a blueprint, and having a legacy such as his is worth more than any yacht or mansion. Thank you. Oh.